I just shrank 3 inches. Hang on. Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another AOS R&D with Rob and Dale. Dale is back. He no longer is suckling at Nurgle's teat. Are you, Dale?
Did you tell people I had COVID? I had the cocoa or
I
whatever it's
don't
called.
think so.
Okay, yeah. So I have not had COVID for like 2.5 years. I've missed it the entire time.
Yeah,
And then 2 days before Christmas, 2 days, I get COVID.
yeah.
So I have
That's
to
a rough
cancel all
one.
my Christmas plans. Um, the first day of COVID, I was like, "Oh, this is nothing. Is this what it's like? Really? Oh, this is nothing." 7 o'clock that evening, I was out. I
Oh
was
yeah.
fever. I was sinuses. I was coughing. I was
Oh
just wrapped in a
jeez.
blanket on the couch, just being like, "Kill me now."
Praying for death.
Um, oh, it was just so bad. I was just like, this is like ridiculous." And I've had 4 vaccines, and I feel like this. Um, and so then the next day, so like I started feeling better the next day, and it got easier and easier and easier. Most of it was kind of sitting on my sinuses for like a week.
Nah.
So yesterday, in fact, today was the first day I wasn't like I've been cleared of it for like 4 or 5 days now because it only you're infectious for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. I think
But
they say
because
like a
I'm
week to 10
asymptomatic,
days,
yeah,
something like that.
my symptoms lingered a bit. So I still had a bit of a cough and um, sinuses, but that's kind of pretty much gone today. So I'm actually feeling pretty good. And I've got wine and I've got Christmas mini eggs because they do Christmas mini eggs now because obviously they're not content about just selling mini eggs at Easter. So then I'll
Wow.
do Christmas mini eggs
I'm surprised they
with
didn't do
a,
it sooner, to be honest.
with a snowflake on them. So that's why they're Christmas. There's no difference. So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
So welcome. Yeah, I missed the massive Games Workshop General Handbook and points release.
Yep.
Thank you. I thank you for AOS Coach for leaking that. I mean, not AOS Coach. Oh no. Oh
Oh,
dear.
oh, Dale, you've
What have
made
I
an
done?
enemy of
Um,
us.
no, it was someone on AOS Coach's Discord leaked it, and we
But
are trying to make
that's
sure.
not where I got it from. Just to be clear,
No, true.
we did not get
Um,
it from anywhere. And I know, I happen to know that GW knows it didn't come from him, as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and that's thing. Like
yeah,
people people did have copies of it before it leaked,
yeah.
but they were being very good about keeping them to themselves. Um, so yeah. Um, so the general, we'll come back to that in a bit. We're not going to go too deep into it because you guys have already done a thing, and I'll give my thoughts and then have a little chat about things. But
It
um,
looks interesting.
hi, Duncan.
Yo, Duncan, what's up,
So
man?
first of all,
Yeah.
what did you do with your Christmas break, Rob? Did you do any
Well,
hobbies?
I did. I did a little bit of hobbying, not as much as I would have liked. I, you know, was really quite busy with mostly with family stuff, but it was
Mhm.
I had a really great break. I would have had more. I would have had battle reports out, but things kept happening. Someone got COVID, and we had just a
Well, I
bunch
mean,
of
we were
like
supposed to
things.
do that big Christmas game, and then we
We
got snowed
we're
in.
still planning it.
Yeah, I know.
We're still
Yeah.
gonna do it. We're gonna do a team game for Patreon, but I do have content coming. At near the end, a couple of people came through for me, like Carson and Matthias, and so I do have some. Actually, I did release the one that Carson just did, but that was a Patreon Path to Glory game. So that one has, according to the patrons, it has the best opening we've ever done, and that's honestly just thanks to Carson. He just came up with this. We kind of collaborated, and he just came up with this really funny script, and the voices he did are so funny.
Nice. It's
So
always
yeah,
fun when you do.
yeah. So sign up for the Patreon if you want to see that. It's 1,000 points of Gits versus, and I was playing 1,000 points of Spider Gits, which turns out are the worst army in the game by a country mile.
Yeah.
Like versus his like new ogre book, he didn't even take underguts, and he was just like, it was just such an uphill battle, but it was fun. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, we named my spiders and had a really fun time. But yeah, no, it was good. What about you? And
Um,
by the way, I'm literally just out of camera, but I'm right here. I forgot to get a couple paints ready. What up,
it's
Keith?
good. Hey, Keith. So I, because obviously I was stuck at home and had to cancel all my plans because of stupid COVID, I managed to get a lot of painting done. So I managed to do, they're not 100% finished yet. There's still things I want to tweak with them. But I got 20 shooters, 5 fanatics, 12 more squigs, and the loon court done. So they're all pretty much painted and based now. I just need to do some highlights and some edging. And then
That's a good amount of painting, though.
yeah, yeah, and we were just talking about this off camera, but basically because my army is pretty much entirely squigs,
Yeah.
it's like a Mangler, 2 units of 36 squigs, Dobby, 2 units of 5 Boingrots. It's like just squigs. I'm gonna paint the fanatics so the balls look like squigs.
It's
So
such
I,
a good
I had
idea.
the idea of like to do them, but like I was thinking maybe I should just put squigs on the balls and have it like it's using a squig and chain. But then I was like, no, would it be more funny if it was just really badly painted squigs on the balls and chains done by the goblins? So they're gonna be like badly painted squig colors, and they're gonna have like big stupid eyes and like ridiculous oversized teeth. And I'm not going to use green stuff or anything because I want to make it look like literally a bunch of goblins got all the paint or dyed blood and just painted these balls in these different
It's
colors.
such a good idea. I wish I thought of it, and I probably will steal it. So everyone
So
forget that Dale came up with it, and think that I did.
originally, because I was thinking about doing hazard colors, like warning hazard colors,
Yeah.
and then I was thinking about doing checkered marks around it, like just doing a band around it with checkered, just to make them stand out a bit. Because I was just
You
looking
want
at
to
the
do
balls and
something.
chains,
Yeah.
and they're like a dirty metal color, and I was just looking at them, going, they just look bad. They just don't look interesting.
Yeah.
And in a perfect example, if you look on my background right now, you see the kind of yellow flamey kind of effects. I've tried to do something similar in all my goblins now. So it doesn't look as cool as that, but it makes them stand out a bit more. I'm trying to do things like I've done some yellow darkened armor on the pauldron and the helmet of my Boingrots, just to make it look like it's like a uniform kind of thing and stuff.
Yeah.
Just again to try and like add some like more elements to the kind of consistency of the army and make it look a little bit more stand out. Because I mean, it's never going to win a painting award, but the more points I can get or knowledge I can get for LVO, the more chance of best overall I could possibly get.
Totally.
If I can actually win a game.
That will help as
So yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I did a lot of painting. I'm watching my partner's going through Grey's Anatomy right now, and we're finally on season 17 and a half out of 18
What
series. Okay,
the?
eight Grey's Anatomy is still going. It's
I
been going on for 15 years. It's got 19 seasons. Each season has 21 to 24 episodes at 50 minutes each. I've had to
Jeez.
watch it for a month or two, and it's slowly driving me insane. But we've only got a season and a half left.
You're just like, yes, I
So,
can't wait till it's
yes.
done.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice because there's lots of stuff I want to kind of watch. Um, Other than that, I've been playing a game called, apart from Overwatch 2, because it's me, but I kind of like playing it. It's like an easy, 10, 20-minute game sometimes. There's a game called Hunt Showdown that Roman got me into,
Oh yeah.
which is kind of like it's a PvP slash PvE. So basically, you go on these maps, and there's teams. There's up to 12 people per map, and teams of anything from 1 to 3 people. And the idea of you got to find clues to find the boss. You've got to kill the boss, and then escape off the map with the boss's um, loot kind of thing, and then you
Okay.
get points. However, all the other people on the server are also trying to do the same thing, and there's zombies and monsters and things like this. So you're kind of like a bunch of hunters trying to kill this big monstery thing while contending with the other hunters as well. But it's brutal in the way of like you get shot once or twice, you're dead,
Dang.
and there are ways of reviving people, saying, but it's like there's weapons that can just one shot you if you're not paying attention, and it's a very sound focused game. So like things can like walking on a branch can make a noise, and people within a certain distance can hear that. Crows can alert people half a map away, stuff like this. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Any Americans for an OK Skaven list? I have a 2K tournament this Saturday. Is this General's Handbook current or General's Handbook version 2, the new one coming out? That isn't officially out yet, but everyone's jumping the gun and using it.
That will change things a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got. What do you have? What like? Let me know. Do you have everything like me or the
Current
current?
current
Yeah.
edition. Okay. So
Um,
what? Fan coil, 3 watt lightning cannons, three
I
units of
that's
20s.
that's the list that like me and Matthias really like
Yeah.
was one Warlock Engineer, Thanquol, Verminlord Deceiver. Um, I think I said an engineer. Three
Yeah.
units of 20 clan rats. Um, Matthias really likes the giant rats and a master molder, except Eshin because yeah they're ugly. Yeah, that's how I feel. Um, in fact, I don't have. Wait, I think I have everything else. But anyway, um,
I mean, if you've got fan coil, he's pretty much an auto include.
Thankful is really good,
Yeah.
and
And
also
take the 2 flamethrowers and 2 fists. Don't go
yeah, agreed
all
with
one
that.
or the other.
I I used to it used to be that the all the flamethrowers were the best, but now, man, it's so much better. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I mean you can also sprinkle in other things to taste. It kind of depends on your style. Um,
And oh yeah, and stick the clan rats in expert conquerors.
when is your thing? Would you say this Saturday? Duncan, check out. We did an episode. We had Matthias on because Matthias came in second at the grand finals, like the world final thing or whatever in New Mexico, and we did an entire show talking about his list, how it
He will never let
functioned.
us forget it.
Yeah, but he was kind enough to come on and kind of explain all of his strategy, and it's a really, really good episode for how to play Skaven in tournament. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Eric made a joke that when he sees someone's playing Matthias, he feels like the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar in the Matrix cheering on. I don't know. Actually, I'm not even. I don't know if I fully get that analogy because I feel like the crew were cheering on Neo, right? But I feel like most of our group is like, can someone beat him, please, for God's sake? Um,
It's usually funny because usually in home games I beat him, and then in tournaments he beats me.
yeah, he saves that.
I created a monster. I could have taken him to any tournaments last year. Fuck that guy.
Yep, but
Fun that guy all the way to the bank
but
without trying
he
to check.
but then he thanked you like sincerely
I know, I know.
on multiple channels.
I know because I paid him to.
Dale's
I'm his uncle.
Dale's bitter. It's fine. It's all
I
fine.
keep threatening to get him arrested at the border.
Yeah, that baby
Oh,
face though, I don't think he'd last long. So,
no.
um,
So yeah, so we have some pictures of
we
stuff.
do. Yep, I've got
Not not
the.
not Matthias's baby face.
Did anyone tell you off, Rob? No, no one told me off. No one came for me. There was no horse head in my bed. I was a little disappointed.
No, mainly
Um,
because we didn't show pictures.
yeah, I didn't show any
Um,
pictures because,
and then
like,
someone leaked like pictures the next day or something.
yeah, exactly. Like you know, the person who leaked it or whatever, the person I got it from, I should say, I don't know them really, so I didn't want to, uh, get them in trouble at all. Like originally, I was gonna show the pictures, and then I talked to them, and they were like, "Could you please not?" I was like, "Oh shoot, yeah, no problem." Like, I don't want to burn any bridges. So no one came for me. And the offer still stands, GW. I would happily sign an NDA, and then and
Yeah.
I can also teach them um how to
Catch
make it.
people.
Yeah, I could like I literally know how you could do it, and
So
it
my thing was it was yeah, we had it, and then I basically made an agreement that I wouldn't put anything up unless I had a source for it. So as soon as things started leaking on Discord groups, that's when I started putting those things on. But I
yeah.
would copy their copies of it and post it.
Someone did leak it on the AOS Coach, not AOS Coach,
Oh
but
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Which we mentioned. Yeah. So basically, someone at one point, because pictures went up, and usually you see pictures, but then a couple of days ago, someone literally just like, and I don't even know what their name is because I didn't memorize it, but they posted the link to the Google Drive which had the book, and it was the same link that we were sent as well. So it was also like, okay, so this is now out now, we can now talk about it more.
exactly.
But yeah, I'm the same. Where if like you get us the science site, we'll not say anything. But then it also means we can have all this delicious content ready for the release. Like we could totally push like
Exactly.
so
It's better
like
for
everyone else
our
does.
channel. It's
Yep.
better for,
No.
it's better for everyone involved, including
I
GW.
Yeah,
But
I would much rather have official contact where it's like, hey, look, this is your stuff. You guys get to look at it, play with it, make your content, and you can release it on this day at this time. And then
exactly,
it means we could have like 2 or 3 battle reports done. We could have a review video and everything ready to go. So we could literally like each day release a new thing, to like give a nice breakdown to people.
exactly.
Um,
And it's not like it's
but
going to change our opinion the of the content itself.
Oh, and I'm also still gonna on this is another thing the other day. Someone's like, "Oh, you're ruining it," blah blah blah. It's like I'm
Wait,
still gonna
what?
buy the book. Oh yeah, someone on Twitter, it's hilarious because I retweeted something
Yeah.
and someone was like, "You guys are ruining this for people," blah 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 blah. It's like, A, if they don't want to look at it, don't look at it. No one's making you look at this stuff. B, it's not ruining it. If anything, it's building hype because everyone's quite excited about the new edition.
Yes.
And C, I'm still going to go and buy the book.
Yeah.
Everyone I know will probably still go and buy the G Handbook because
I don't know
having that
anyone who's
physical
not going
copy
to buy
is
it.
really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like all you're doing is building hype. It's not like, it's like Slave to Darkness. Like I know the book released and it's kind of a shame the whole thing did, but so many people are desperate to get playing that book and it's done nothing but sell the models for them. Because if you know what you're getting, you're gonna go buy more stuff rather than be like, oh, I'm not sure if this is gonna be any good. Maybe I'll just buy one box set and then, oh God, this is actually really good. I want to buy 10 of them.
Yeah. I remember when the Tyranid box released and you couldn't buy Tyranid Warriors, you couldn't buy Maliceptors, you couldn't buy all these things, Zoanthropes and stuff for a long time, and it was before the book even came out. A, B, it's not a story. Like we're not doing it's not a story like where you can spoil the ending. It's not like the end of the GHB is
Yeah.
the last battle report and everyone's like, oh, well now
Okay.
there's no
So
point in buying it. No, of course there is.
and there's also other things. So like speaking of like, and sometimes
Exactly, Keith.
spoiler-esque things can really push the hypersync. So spoiler warning: if you've not seen Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Mad, not Doctor, no, sorry, not Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. If you've not seen Spider-Man, the last one, if you've not seen the last Spider-Man movie, don't listen for like 30 seconds or a minute. So basically, in the last Spider-Man video, it was leaked a couple of weeks before the film came out that all 3 Spider-Men were going to be in the film. So
Mm.
Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Thing, and that did nothing but push the hype for the film because everyone's now like, oh my god, all of these people whose childhood, like Tobey Maguire was my childhood Batman, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like cool. Okay, so thumbs up now, so you're
You're good, Keith.
good. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
They're great
and that's the thing.
movies.
So
It's a
sometimes
great movie.
sometimes spoilers can push something, and sometimes it can hurt something. But like if it's something that's gonna help build hype because people are excited by something, like people, as you said off camera, like people are basically asking you to do videos on the new General Handbook right now, not on the current one. Because
Yeah.
it's kind of dead. Like it's kind of weird. We discussed this as well. So LVO is the last ITC tournament of the last season. So as it still stands, they're using the old General's Handbook, and a lot of people are kind of like, well, why are they using that? Because they should be, you know, the best one. Spider-Man 3 was the best one, no question. Yeah, cool. It was totally. Um, and yeah, so LVO is using the old General's Handbook, which I get because it's the finish off for the ITC season, which was the last General's Handbook. So I get that. That's fine. But also, there is
Well,
a lot of people that it would have been the first big tournament of the year that we could have used the new General's Handbook
yeah,
with the new point system. So it would have been like a really good event to be like, oh, how's this affected the meta kind of thing. I was
exactly.
using goblins either way, so I was fine.
Yeah. I don't know which one would be better for goblins.
Um, it's six and a half a dozen really until we get the new book, because the problem goblins have at the minute is we are the only army book in the game that does not have its own battle tactics.
Yeah.
So every other army book in the game has either had a White Dwarf update
But that doesn't
or
change
a
between
new
the
army
new
book.
and the old GHB.
No, but there's a lot of the new battle tactics in the GHB which are harder to get than there's no easy thing like against the odds
Yeah.
or run with free units. Like the battle tactics are getting harder, and usually people have a good turn one option, which is a more solid option than a general's handbook one in their army book.
It really depends on the book though.
It does,
Like
but at
Skaven
least you
don't
have,
have that. There are no good. There's only one
even
good
if you build your
Skaven battle
army around
tactic.
it,
What's that?
even if you build your army around it,
Yeah. So
yeah,
there's
but you still have one.
no you
So
there's
that's,
none. There's none.
oh, there's none. Okay.
Yeah, there's none. There's one battle tactic that you can use that even if you build your army around it, your opponent's army, the composition of your opponent's army determines whether or not you can get it. So, for example, you can't get it against what's it called, Night Haunt, right? Like you'll never get it against Night Haunt because they don't have any monster. Actually, I guess if they bring a Morngul, if they happen to bring a Morngul, but they're never bringing a
Oh,
Morngul. So it really
okay.
just depends on
Well,
which kind of book you have. Like I think the
true.
earlier ones are mostly worse.
Yeah,
I don't know. The
because
Skaven ones
well,
are bad though.
a lot of the battle, like people on average, have an option or
They have,
two in
there's
their
usually,
books.
I mean, Stormcast have it rough, Skaven have it rough, and Orcs are not great either. Hey, I don't remember Ironjaw's, but I remember the Cruel Boys one is like do 10 mortal wounds and don't take 10 or more mortal wounds or
Mm.
wounds. And sometimes you just like you have to get into combat or you know what I mean to get an objective. And there's literally only one for Cruel Boys as well, which is probably also hurting them. But oh,
So
and
the way I bring that up is I played a game. So I was using my LVO list
yeah.
minus the
Well, but
battalions
before you go on, Dale,
versus.
before you go on, the question was like what I was trying to ask you was like bounty hunters hurt most destruction armies
Yeah.
more than other armies, right? So like it's that versus like the stuff in the new book, like you
Oh, I
need
think
Galatian champions and that kind of thing.
I think if you build like so basically if you're building for the new General's Handbook, you either have to have a way of killing Galician champions very quickly, or you have to take four, at least probably three or four Galician champions, and
Yes.
ones that can survive as well.
Yes.
Because, like,
Ideally.
yeah, because in the list I had, because I was using my LVO list, I had one character that could be a Galician champion, and he was four, he was Madcap Shaman, so he's four wounds with no ward save. So he died turn two, and then that's, oh, well, that's half the battle tactics I can't do now because they're a
Yeah.
Galician champion. And you need at least one or two Galician champions to do
You
most of the
you
most of them.
can do it with a if you have the sworn bodyguard unit, you could do that
Yeah,
as well.
some of them you can. Some of them give you the option either
Only
or,
one. Yeah.
yeah,
But then the problem is it also gives up a battle tactic.
yeah,
I think
and
Keith,
that's the thing as well.
I think you're right, Keith. I think it was Vince. But I think most people who play Stormcast are probably annoyed with those battle tactics.
Yeah,
So, but putting that aside, what do you think then? What do you think?
of the new General's Handbook, I think it's very interesting. I think the new points are gonna help a bit because definitely some armies are gonna lose. Like so, for instance, Daughters of Cain, they're gonna either lose a character or a unit, or they're gonna have to decrease the size of units because their armies have gone up pretty much by 70 to 90 points on average. Um,
That's a lot. What went up in Daughters?
Marafi's gone up 20 points. Blood Sisters went up 10. Um,
I'm
the
surprised
Canary
Marathi
went
only
up.
went up 20 points.
Yeah, she went up recently. She went from 620 to 680 to 700.
Oh, okay. She's up to
So
700 now?
she's up to 700 now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, never mind.
The heart went up, but some of the stuff that went the up and downs by five. So like Witch House went to 115 to 120. Canary went from 95 to 100. The heart went from 45 to 50. So because of all these adding up, with everything else that's been taken, like
I
the
would love
cauldron
some
went up 10
Popeyes,
points.
Duncan.
Oh, Popeye's chicken.
Oh man, it's
I
so good.
love, oh, so good. We've started getting them more of them across Vancouver now. I think we're up to four or five. It's such good chicken. Yeah,
You know
I'll have
what?
some popcorn shrimp. I'll have some chicken and some Cajun fries.
You know where the first time I had Popeyes was? It was in Korea because they had it
Oh, really?
so far before us. Yeah,
I love it how we only got like one restaurant like 2 years ago in Surrey, and now we're on like five or six in like a space of a year and a
it
half, I
makes
think.
sense. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
People in Vancouver love their fried chicken. There's a lot of fried chicken options.
yeah. I still think that the best
See you,
is.
Duncan.
We'll see in a bit. I still think the best option though is funny enough is like real Korean fried
All right.
chicken. Like, man, after COVID, there was like one of my favorite restaurants in this area was in the what's it called the Lonsdale Key there, and after COVID, like everything just got shut down. There's like most of those restaurants are gone. It's unfortunate. Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Back to Age of Sigmar. Yeah. Okay.
I guess if
So
we
yeah.
have to,
So the points do make a difference. Um,
for sure.
I know, and it's going to help some armies as well. So like Stormcast got a drop on a lot of stuff. Fire Slayers got some interesting drops, and because of how the new General Handbook looks like it's going to work, it's pushing towards it's anti-castling arsenals because they want you to push forwards.
Yeah,
Um, and not sit on objectives. And because it's going after infantry as well, for the infantry heroes, there's armies like Ironjaws, Stormcast, Fire Slayers. They see kind of more of a buff because I mean, look at how many unnamed Stormcast heroes they are that already have a good armor save,
yeah,
so they're a lot
it's
more
true.
survivable.
Yeah,
And Fire Slayers too. They're very good. Their ward saves and they're kind of already have like the synergy with in front of foot infantry and foot heroes. They have a good buff on that as well. Some armies like Daughters of Cain, for instance, can get a bit of a hit on that, and Seraphon too, because like a lot of their heroes are like if you have a hero, it's like a foot astrolith bearer or a skink priest,
the
or
skink
Daughters of
priests are
Cain.
like
It's like,
yeah, rocking a
oh,
five up
I
save.
have a, and Daughters of Cain foot heroes are expensive, and they're usually 5 or 6 wounds with a 5 up armor save. So it's like much more squishy in comparison to like a Stormcast one, which is like a 3 up and sometimes a 6 up for a lot of theirs. It can make a difference.
Yeah,
So happy about the points changes to Secretors and Evocators on Dracolins. Strange player, the Rune of Petrification went up. Yeah, the change. Yeah, I like it how they kind of needed to decrease the magical element of the Stormcast army because I don't remember the last time I saw evocators or secretors or evocators and dracolins or any of the
I
magical
do.
kind
It
of
was
side.
firmly in AOS 2, Dale.
No, yeah, but that was before, in some ways before my time. But um,
Yeah,
yeah, and I haven't even looked at that. I think I have some
Dracolines are such
evocators,
cool
but
models too. It's a shame we
oh
don't see
yeah,
more of
yeah.
them.
And some, so like Fulminator's got a slap there. They went up, but then like Retributors went down 25 points because they're a foot infantry. So that's kind of nice. So it's interesting. The one like I think it's going to be interesting how it's going to play. I really think you need, as I said, like 3 or 4 survivable foot heroes. Like so for myself for Gloomspite Gates, hey Sean, I am what
Yo, Sean.
Fulminator's need of a slot. I think they're gonna see less of them now. They're not as impactful, especially with bounty hunters. They're kind of it's interesting. I think you won't see them as much. Um,
They're such a
with
good
my
bounty
Gloomspite,
hunter unit. Like it was
yeah.
crazy.
So for Gloomspite Gates, I'm gonna probably take Fungoids because they're 95 points and they have
Yep.
a 4 up ward save.
Yep.
So for a Galician champion, they're probably the most until the new stunning looking Squig boss comes out. he's probably going to be a better option. And speaking of Squig Boss, it's kind of amusing because again we missed that while I was off. I changed my handles on some things to Squig Boss like 3 days or 2 days before they released that model, and then they brought out a model called Squig Boss, and I thought that was hilarious. It like really made me kind of chuckle, especially because we've kind of dubbed him Dr. Victor von Shroom or
Hmm.
Dr. Shroom because he's got like metal kind of mask,
He looks like
and
Doctor Doom.
also he's
Yeah,
kind of a nod supposedly to Skasnik because he's got
he
him
totally
and his
is.
Nobler and his staff. So I'm
Yep.
kind of really so I want to have I hope he's good because I want to have at least two of them in my army.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick
Uh,
one up.
yeah. So it's kind of exciting. The one negative thing I have about it is they did stupid stuff like they did in the previous book, where it's like, hey, we're going to introduce this cool thing to let all your really bad, unsurvivable heroes not be shot off in turn one or two. But we're going to make a battalion that'll let you shoot them off in turn one or two. But it's only good for certain armies because some armies don't have shooting, or like they just don't have competent shooting that could do that. It's like
Honestly,
you're not shoot off a hero with
I
20 shooters.
I'm fine with it because like I can only name one unit that's really good in that battalion.
Long strikes,
Yes.
blood sisters. No, sorry, blood stalkers. Lumineth.
Yeah, Bloodstalkers are pretty good.
Um, the bowmen.
The
The
Sentinels
sentinels.
aren't they kind of overpriced though for like
Not really. I mean, if you can still
but then you can only
snipe out
cast
these
that spell
little.
on one of those units.
Yeah, you just take one unit of
But
20.
but then we're also not like nothing's changed. Like you're still -1 to hit.
Yeah,
So like I don't know.
but you're
I'm
going to
fine with
have a
it.
lot more. You're going to have a lot more of them. Because this is the balance you have to do is you have to take the balance of I'm going to bring enough Galician champions to be able to survive losing one or two and being able to do my battle tactics still on one
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
So that means like even if I take three fungoids in my army, that's now adding nearly 280 points of heroes that are just there to try and cast a spell or to do a battle tactic. So on the other hand of that, you've got that army now has to take an extra 300, 400 points in weak support heroes to score battle tactics. I now can take units that can kill those, and that's kind of going to change the balance of the army. Because if you have a way of being able to snipe out the heroes with that battalion, or magic, because again it ignores magic for that ability, um, or you can get within that 9 easy enough as well and shoot, then you're at an advantage because it's like you're not then putting tons of points into Galician champions.
Yeah, but like if you have battle tactics in your book, and I'm not talking about Gits right now, okay?
Yeah,
But if you like, and there's actually several that don't have it, I keep getting tougher to shoot at. Well, I mean,
yeah,
IDK aren't changing. Like that's what's crazy is like they're they're still like the anti-shooting guys, right? Or we are. I don't know. Anyway,
you can put
but
your
if you
hero
have
in the front, so he's the
like
closest unit, and then they can't shoot him.
for sure, but I mean, oh, I see. Yeah, well, yeah, you put anything in front of any unit and then they can't be shot. Um, but if you have like, let's say you have like even just one viable battle tactic, right? You can build your army around getting the four that don't have anything to do with champions and your one battle tactic, and then you don't even need champions, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah, and that's the thing, and you can basically, if you've got a way of killing those enemy champions, then
yeah,
you're in a very good position because like some armies will need to take them. So, for instance, if I was doing Daughters of Cain, I would probably have two. I'd probably have three Galician champions. One of them would probably be the Medusa, and then I'd probably have two cheap High Gladiatrixes. The High Gladiatrix is good at buffing units, but they're not very hard to kill.
no,
They're only a 5 up armor save with 5 wounds.
yeah.
But yeah, 4 up with the bubble and 6 up ward. But that's still pretty easy to ping off. And then that's 90 points gone.
Wait, what's their ward save?
6 plus.
6+, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing for like
And
Seraphon, like even more so. They only have 4 wounds. They have like a 5 up save, um, and no means of
yeah,
hiding. You
so
know,
some armies are great, like some, as I said, like Fire Slayers and like Stormcast. Stormcast really benefit because a lot of their heroes have like a free up armor save.
it's true, but then their heroes tend to be a little bit more expensive for.
Hmm.
Uh,
But if you can keep those heroes more chance of alive,
yeah.
like especially things like the Lord Relictor with the still given the item, that means you can't target him unless you're in 9 inches because that ignores the battalion.
Oh, the mirror shield.
Yeah,
Totally.
because the battalion only affects the it's like yin and yang ability. So it will circumvent that. So you now have this free up armor save hero who can heal and he can run around and score objectives without you being able to shoot him.
Um, for sure. Uh, they Sylvaneth have Galatian champions. They've got the branch witch and um, they've got a really good one in the what's the guy with the flute? I can't remember his name because he's got a 4 up ward as well, and he's not a named
He's a
character.
couple of 100 points, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but like he's so hard to kill. Like you
Oh,
can't.
and that's the thing. So like if you only need I think one or two. So as long as you can have one or two that are survivable,
Yeah.
then that doesn't matter. It's just that there's a lot of support heroes that are on foot that are not survivable.
Yes. But I don't know. A lot of people are kind of going that the sky is falling because they're comparing the new shooting battalion to the bounty hunters, and I just don't think it's even close to the same scale, right?
No, it's and this is the thing. It's going to be an interesting balance to see how it works. Because again, like if you're taking the battalion, you're a minimum of 4 drops.
Yes. And now, by the way, I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm not saying that they should have like a hard counter to every theme of the season. I'm just saying like I don't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah, yeah, it's just annoying. Yeah, they try and do one thing, and then they're like, oh, but we have this thing, and it's just like, oh, that's just like
Yeah. Yeah.
again, it penalizes. The reason I find it's annoying is because it penalizes the armies that don't have that. So you have an army that
Yes.
doesn't have that shooting unit that can do that. It's kind of like, oh well, great, I get this thing where my heroes might actually live, but every other army gets this thing, and then we don't get this.
I mean, but there are lots of like most armies don't have good shooting.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's a lot of armies that don't.
So I feel like
And I
it's
feel
pretty
like the
even.
ones that again, it's the reason why I think Stormcast are going to be very good in this edition because they can do survivable Galician heroes,
Yeah.
champions,
And they've
but they
got
can also
good
have that shooting unit. They can have
totally.
that sniping unit either by the most likely long strikes.
They
Like
will have
long
to
strike
they
will
will have to give
destroy
up their drops though.
Celestine Prime. I think he is because he's not a named hero. He's unique, but he's not a named hero.
Uh no, he's a named hero.
Is he?
Yeah, you can only have
Is
one
the
of him.
Celestine Prime? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
We don't know his name, but he is a named. Yeah.
Jeff,
Yeah.
Carl Franz.
Jeff
Jeffy Carl Franzi. So yeah, I'm
Jeff.
excited to get some games in with it and see how it goes with actually because again, like I kind of like what they've done with scenarios. There's some different those who call him Tim the Enchanter. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Um,
his name used to be Gregor, but now he's called Jeff.
but yeah, because I like how they've changed up. I really like the Jaws Galette with the reverse prize Galette kind of thing. Um, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to try it. But you definitely have to, like, I've literally today I deleted all the army lists in my phone. I had like 20 army lists I wanted to play,
Yeah, I've got more than that.
apart
As you
from my
tell.
LVO one,
Yeah,
because because it's like, well, these are all pointless in the new General's Handbook,
that's
so I'm going to need
interesting.
to rewrite all of them. Um, but I don't want to play my gets right now anyway, so I have the
I
hiccups.
I can't delete everything because I'm still making Path to Glory. Deathmaster's hidden in units. So Thor, we tried it. Matthias and I we didn't do a battle report. We were filming a Skaven Tactics video, and then it got really, really late, so we just played a regular game because battle reports take freaking forever to film. And we he did this Matthias came up with this amazing combo where you give the Deathmaster the Shadow Magnet Trinket, put him in a unit of Storm Vermin. He pops out in the combat phase, even if it's the enemy's charge, like they charge you. He pops out, pops the Shadow Magnet Trinket, and then he's in the unit with his sworn bodyguard, so they can fight one after another. But as it turns out, Storm Vermin are still bad. They went down 5 points, so but they're still bad.
Oh, hey Roman. Painting up
Yo,
my second Doom wheel. You have Doom wheels? The Great Horn Rat smiles.
no, he's talking. This is Romulan dog.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, not
It's
Roman.
Roman.
Roman is another chap. Romulan dog's been watching the channel almost since the beginning.
Um,
A fellow Skaven player.
I
So that means he's a good person.
he used a similar thing where he had the assassin in a unit of clan rats, and he popped out. It was kind of the comedy moment of the game where he popped out to assassinate Grimdrak.
Yeah.
So he charged into Grimrak. Grim was like, "Fine, I'll take you. I've got like decent stat profile." So he attacked with something else first. I got to hit him first, and I got like 5 hits, 4 wounds, and then he made like 3 6s. So I only got 1 wound through D3 wounds. He took
Jeez.
1 wound.
That's
He then hit me back, failed with all of them apart from the mortal wound attack, and then only got 1 mortal wound on me.
jeez.
So it's just like this gigantic combat with these two like heroes trying to murder each other, and they both just do 1 wound. It's
Just
like,
a slap fight.
no, it's really anticlimactic. Hi four. Yeah, it was just like it was very very silly, very amusing thing. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll move on. So that's the general handbook stuff and points. Yeah, excited, very interested to see what happens. It would have been nice if LVO had done that the new handbook, but they're not. They're using the old one. It looks like so that's fine. It'll end up the season. It'll close it all off, and then they start a new.
He
Second
didn't get
dice
death.
and
Oh, sorry.
twos.
I thought he did not get death
Oh no, I was reading
frenzy
the same
off.
thing.
I shut down the spell, and he didn't have Skaven Brew because what did he take? Oh, geez. Shadow Magnet
Nah.
Trinket and something else that he thought was more important. Oh, yeah. He couldn't because you really, like, honestly, I agree with his choice here. So unless you have 2 Warlord battalions, uh, basically you want to take the Warpstone Charm on the Warbringer because he's just insane when he has the Warpstone Charm. Um, but so he didn't have Skaven Brew because the Shadow Magnet Trinket is like essential to that little combo. Um, and and honestly, he still won the game. But like the Storm Vermin Deathmaster thing that we both wanted to be true so badly, just it didn't pan out. If they drop Storm Vermin down to like even just like I mean I think they should be lower than this, but like if they go down to 120, I actually think that they'll be viable. But the problem is they don't hit that hard and they don't survive. And 130, so you're paying 390 points for a block of 30, and that's 20% of your army, and they just don't really do much. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, yeah. I kind of just shot. Anyway, yeah, I kind of just shot into the Warbringer nearby, and then he had to deflect wounds. He still won the game again, but it just that combo just didn't pan out, even though we were really hoping it would. And he was using my Skaven because he doesn't have Storm Vermin. But yeah, I don't know though. Like I don't know. I mean, I want it to work too, Romulan. They were 110. I know. Yeah, at least they're 130 now, but I think at least because like people weren't even using them at 110.
Summoning Games Workshop are like, oh, but these are the elite fighting Skaven. They should be 130 points per turn.
For real.
It's like, no, they're still garbage.
They were like, well, we gave them the bodyguard rule, so now they
Yeah.
should be worth more. I get that.
Yeah.
But also, like, they lost their 2-inch reach, so when they get below 10, I mean, it's not that big a deal, but yeah, it's tough. and
I know,
beats you with
Alex.
your
It's
own
just
models.
cheesy.
Well, he did film a tactics video before that, so I was still I was still quite happy with him, you know. But no, it was a good time. We still haven't talked about the rumor engine. That's crazy. This is definitely a record for us. We're 45 minutes in, haven't brought up the rumor engine.
If we start backwards, so that's the rumor engine. It looks
Yeah,
like a club. It could be the
it
new
looks like a club.
Adeptus.
I think you might be right. I think it's a mace
I know,
still.
but it's like a very non like I wouldn't say that's a fantasy mace.
I
It's just weird looking.
The other thing too is if you look at the metal paint, I think this is really small because I think they've zoomed it in and that's why you can see the pixels on the
Could be
not.
like a hand grenade.
Oh,
Like a
you think it's like a World War like
yeah, like the
one
German kind of
style?
old style grenades
Yeah,
maybe.
right. Yeah, I think the
It
Brit.
just looks very like, I again, like I've heard there's things about maybe Adeptus Arbites coming back and stuff.
Oh,
May I
cool.
mean, is that a it could be a humany hand, but to be honest, it looks more like orky.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say a Git hand because I think it's really small. But the
Hmm.
problem is the wraps around the hand. I don't know. I don't know that much about. Actually, Alex would know.
Maybe it's another Cruel Boy unit with grenades.
Alex says it's actually massive, but that's just how bad GW metallics are. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. Uh, maybe Romulan. We tried, man. If anyone could make it work, I think it was Matthias, but we both were like, oh man, that's a shame. Cultist bopping stick. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. My first reaction though was this was a fantasy thing, but I think you guys are right. Um,
It's just usually when they do maces for fantasy, it's spiky maces.
it's
And
true,
this
as
isn't
it
a
should be,
spiky
you know, as it should be.
this
But
isn't a spiky mace. This is a very like knobbly mace, and it looks more like a grenade kind of thing to
okay, well,
me.
if
But
we think this is a 40k thing, it needs to just go away, right? Bam.
and then we have the other thing that came out this week,
Yeah, I just popped up a picture.
which is the Games Workshop um, model anniversary model.
Yeah,
So the reason this is cool is the model's like it's pretty cool. It's fine. It's a KO model. They look the same kind of thing.
yeah.
But he has a tiny ship. So it either means that
It's so
they have
awesome.
AOS, they have AOS and AOS.
Yeah.
They have miniature based war games, and this is just like this is my ironclad. Look at my ironclad. It's my friend. Or it's gonna be like some sort of like you know I don't even know if is it a new character or is it just a use as someone else. But it's
I think it's
I just
oh,
like
it says Torque. His name's Torque, so I guess it's a name
I just like the
character.
idea of this like this KO dude sitting in a bath with his toy ironclad, the
So it's an
rubber ducky.
Arcanaut Admiral. Torque Lenson is one of the most storied and hard-bitten veteran of Skyborne skirmishes throughout the Age of Sigmar.
I want him to be able to throw the tiny ship at people and attack them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you don't have to have it with the model. The helmetless option shows off the admiral's battle scars while carrying his helmet.
So he's either got his helmet on and he's got a tiny ship,
Yeah.
or he's got no helmet and he's got his helmet.
How
I like
awesome
the
would it?
idea of I want to do I want to do a version of him where he's wearing his helmet and carrying a helmet.
Yeah, he's got like the
It's
Honey I
like a
Shrunk the.
double.
He's got like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids ray, and he just throws it out like Alex said, and he shoots a ray, and it
Yeah.
becomes an Arcanaut, and he jumps inside.
I just want a model on the field with two helmets. This is my battle helmet and this is
Ooh.
my after helmet, and it's like
Did you see Keith's comment? Replace it with a bag of dice. That's such a good idea. You could even just maybe paint them as like D&D dice or
I'm
something.
surprised no one's done memes of that yet, where they're just putting memes of this KO guy just holding different things.
I mean, he came out today, so
Yeah,
give it a little more time. We might see that.
summons a ship when you're throwing a ship. Yep.
That
I
would
mean,
be.
you could put it in a like you could probably make a resin glass bottle around it, so like a ship in a
That's what I
bottle.
was
But
gonna say. It's almost too bad that it didn't have something like that. But yeah,
I mean, it's a pretty cool model.
it's if
Like
you like
it's in
KO, man,
KO
like
armor.
I don't think they've ever come out with one of these models for my an army that I play.
Hey Dan.
Yo, Dan,
Also,
what
he
up?
kind of looks like he's got some big power pack to power that hammer. So it's
Yeah.
going to be like some big hitting combat. He has
Tentacle.
he has a tiny ship. He's not dumb. He's a legend.
he's he's
At least he's not this
basically
ugly
us.
ogre model that needs a bag over his head because it's so ugly.
I still like the ogre model.
So ugly.
I defend that ogre model.
Wow, it's
He's
terrible.
supposed to look he's supposed to look ugly though, you know?
They say every other KO. He's supposed to look like every other KO out there because it means when he's getting shot at, they shoot the other ones and not him. And he can just sit in the back of his ironclad with his tiny ironclad going,
He's just
whee!
playing with his
Because he's
ironclad. You don't need
high,
to shoot
he's
him.
high on Aether Gold.
Oh man.
All Carrion Overlords are just cracked out on Aether Gold.
Yeah. Like
That's
Dobby.
why, yeah.
Only he
By poor Darby.
only he's cracked out on crack.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
meth head. Yeah, Dobby the meth head. So yeah, that's pretty sure there's a magic item in D&D. That's ship captain hat when said magic
Oh,
word
that's
to
cool.
into a ship. I do like the idea. It's like yeah, you just like you can throw it 3d6 and then you summon a gun hauler or something. An ironclad.
And congrats again, Dan, on having the kid. His wife was
Dan had
in
a
labor
kid.
during the last show, Dale.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
dedication.
It was
Is
great.
the kid called Rob or Dale or is it called a goblin?
No,
Is it called
it
Skarsnik?
was a little
Did you
baby
call the kid
girl.
Skarsnik?
It was a little baby girl,
Skars
little sweet
Skarsnik
girl.
can be a baby girl's name.
I wait, Dan, you didn't name your daughter after Skarsnik, did you? I
Skarsnik.
know her name, but I don't want to say it in case he doesn't want that info out. Yeah,
Scarlet,
I know it's
half of
Scarlet. He just put it in the chat, and and then you said that, and I was like, wait a minute, did he name it
it's got
after?
the scar.
Did he
So
name his
Scarlet
daughter after
Skarsnik. I'm
Skarsnik?
gonna take that as a win. So Dan is a legend. He's got half of Skarsnik in his daughter's name,
Yeah, I mean,
and that will forever live in your
no
brain.
one tell Dan's wife that
No
this
one
is
tell
a
you why.
secret lore behind his daughter's name.
I wonder if I can do that.
So
Let me
my
see.
son's name is excellent. I've got excellent blackmail material now,
Well,
Dan.
me and my because
Wonderful.
Lisa's now off birth control because we're gonna be trying for a kid this year. So maybe I'm gonna see if I can do something similar.
That would be so amazing.
Can I get half of a name in a name?
So
Hmm.
so I actually tried to name my kid after a character, but my wife was just like, no. My favorite universe is actually Dune, and one of the main characters' son is named Leto. So, but
Yep.
my wife said no. So my son's
Dale,
name is
I did a
Liam.
boo boo at the start of the new army from the year. What did you do?
Yeah, I know
Which
what he
army?
has, but I'll wait for him to say it.
I think he might have told me and I just forgot.
He posted pictures on
I
the
also didn't realize you literally had a baby over Christmas. I thought you were still talking about your other baby.
no, he his wife was in labor and he was watching the show
Tree people.
on his
Oh, that's not
phone.
too bad.
Yeah,
Is it going to be like the Happy Little Tree Friends? Like from the cartoon that used to be a thing about 5 years ago?
I don't remember that.
Maybe I'm the only
I
person.
don't know that
You
cartoon.
remember Happy Little Tree Friends or Happy Tree Friends? It was like this
Like Bob Ross style.
cartoon. No, yeah, it was like very like it's like a cartoon, but cartoon aimed at adult people. Where it's like it's all about these furry little animals that live in the forest, but they're all like murdering each other and stuff. Like, yeah, see, there you go. Some
Is it
people remember.
basically like the demon ones from South Park,
Maybe,
the little
maybe.
critters?
Uh, yeah, no. I can't remember when I watched that last. Anyway, cool. Yeah, getting Sylvaneth are kind of a fun army.
They're
You
really
have
cool.
her royal finest, so
Her Royal Finest is great.
her royal
Her
finest.
Royal Finest is actually Chun-Li from Street Fighter, but we mustn't quibble.
To be honest, if someone ever wanted to buy me an army or I had spare money just to buy an army on a whim, I would probably get some Sylvaneth. They're pretty cool. I like them. I like the models.
I always wanted to get Sylvaneth, but so many people in this area play it that I was just like, well, I don't want to, have the same army as, like you don't want to just have constant mirror matches, right? So,
Yeah. You need to get a Skaven hero, paint the clothes in your family, and put pink ribbon in the hair.
You need to get a
Every
Skaven hero,
Halloween.
paint the clothes in a photo.
Yeah,
Already.
Scarlet needs to be a Skaven hero.
Oh man.
A Bloom Spike get.
Damn, Dan. You're
Thank you,
so
Dan. You need
generous,
that for your
Dan.
baby because you need to buy him some goblin costumes and a pet squig. We need to make you a pet squig. I need to get you. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get your address at some point because I'm trying to persuade Lisa to make me some more of my Gloomspite Git patches. I want to take some with me to LVO so I can give to some people like AOS Coach and stuff. But I want to send one to Dan and then he can put it on a baby grow and then he could have Scarlet Skarsnik with a goblin baby grow. That's my plan. I'm
That
gonna
would
do that.
be
As soon as I
amazing.
get her to make me them, because they're embroidered, I'm gonna get your address and we're gonna send you one.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Like if we get this year, we already got like all these things. We got these patches saying like I'm a goblin up to goblin stuff, and so I'm gonna put them onto a baby girl. I'm
Yeah.
trying to name our kid if we have one
Let us
Parker
know. Let us
after our
know,
dog.
Dan. You can send me your address and
We can send you some dice too.
yeah, we got dice on sale
We'll
and
we'll we'll, we'll send you a care package.
yeah, we'll send you a care package for real. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll chat, Dan. We'll
Yeah.
chat on Instagram. I've also like I managed to I had to open up a new account for Canada Post to ship dice to people because they just like canceled my old one. Did I tell you this?
No?
So I went to ship the um, the dice to
Bro, by
people.
the way, I've tried to have all the kids named after Star Wars characters.
Yeah, yeah. I thought mine was kind of like more, you know, like most people
We're
don't know
basically gonna
like the characters' names in Dune. You know what I mean?
we're going to come up with non-binary names so they can choose in the future because my partner's very keen on that. So that's why I was trying to get named after the dog because the dog's called Parker. And I think that's a great name. It could be either way. But she refuses to have a dog and a baby called the same thing.
That's not a bad call if we're being honest. Um,
But Skarsnik, no,
Skarsnik,
Gobbler.
Star-
Its nickname could easily be Gobbler because it just like puts things in its mouth because it's a baby and that's what they do.
absolutely. Oh man,
Okay.
yeah, that's a good nickname for most children if we're being honest.
You have twins. You have Skarsnik and Gobbler. You
Nice. Oh
can
God.
name your first as being Luke or Lucas. Yeah,
Oh
Lucas works.
wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
One of
If
the best things to do with baby names is get a name you like, then sit there pretending to be bullied at school and say, yeah, completely. Yeah, because there's so many names. It's like, oh, how about this name? It's like,
it's
no, that's just
so
stupid.
true.
That poor kid is going to be destroyed for that.
Yeah, I knew um um I knew a
Call the
woman
baby Spot,
I knew
name the
a woman
dog.
named Robin Hood. First name Robin, last name Hood. And my dad had a friend named Willow Tree. And this is the craziest one. Uh, a, my dad had like not a friend but an acquaintance called Broken Glass. Like what
No. We had
parents must
there
have they
used to be
had?
two AOS, sorry, Warhammer Fantasy Brothers that were from up north. I can't remember where, and they were called Lake and Land.
Oh my gosh.
One was called Lake and the other one was called Land. And it's like, oh,
Wow.
so you have a kid that's gonna be called Puddle or something.
Do you guys remember when everyone was naming their daughter Khaleesi after Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, and then
After
the last
season
season
eight?
came.
Like, oh
Yeah,
man.
or Cersei.
Oh
I
yeah.
kept turning down any names like
Well,
girls.
everyone knew Cersei was an awful
Yeah,
person
yeah.
from the get
You
go.
can't. You can definitely.
Any
I
names
agree
a
with
girl.
that, Dan.
Yes.
100%.
Oh wow.
100%.
It was good of
Yeah.
you to turn down that name. not make your not make your poor wife turn it down. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex's idea
Also,
is
probably any name you really like as well, because then when the kid's annoying you, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's just gonna be like that
Dan.
doesn't work.
Okay,
Jesus.
how about that? Are we better? I was trying to keep it AOS classy. This
the
model is
the
fire though, right?
we need to do. Oh, I right. I'm gonna say this now, and then someone needs to go and do it, and then I want the credit for it. is
Okay.
they need to do the Nickelback meme where it's like, look at my photograph, where it's like, look at my tiny ship, but like it's the Nickelback meme. There's a whole Nickelback meme where it's like, look at my photograph, and it's a picture of Nickelback holding up something, and it's supposed to be a photograph, but people put different things in it. Someone could do that with the tiny ship.
Make Dale's wish come true, someone.
Yeah, because my editing skills are literally paint and copy and paste, and they always look dreadful but funny to
Look
me.
at Dan is wilding out in the chat here. He says that's the same model. They're totally different. First of all, it has much less awful GW metallic paint on it. I want to point that out.
He so wants to be a space wolf.
Yeah, he kind of does.
He's
Space
a
wolves are the
squat
the
because that's what they're
coolest,
called,
so
trying to
I
be
understand it.
a space wolf.
Okay, what do we need then? Uh,
Goblins. Get the goblin hero. Give us his daughter. Give us
okay,
Scarsnick Scarlet. So
it's
I'm gonna do I'm gonna
Scars
gender bend
Scarslet. Scar.
my
Careful my
squig boss,
pronunciation.
and it's gonna be called Scarlet, and that's gonna be a thing. So I'm gonna have a goblin in my
Oh,
army who's gonna be called Scarlet.
we didn't talk about these goofy ass
I'm a
supply
dwarf.
drop things.
I'm a dwarf.
What on
That is
earth?
actually, oh, good grief, the supply drops. Okay,
We never
so
talked about that.
Games Workshop, in their infinite wisdom, were like, hey, we're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna make it that we're gonna charge you this amount of money, and you're gonna get some surprise mystery items. Unfortunately, they're only available in like 3 of the 20 countries that can actually buy AOS, so you couldn't get them in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. I think it was literally like the UK and some other places.
Yeah.
But then it's also like they were sold out in 5 minutes, and they were really vague. Like you
Yeah.
can get this random box of 40k stuff, and it's like okay, but 40k is a pretty big game,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it like you're paying £85 or something like this. So basically, you're gonna get a box of random stuff that they've not sold many of this year, and it'll probably be from like 4 different armies for the 40k one. The elves, it's like, well, that could be like Daughters of Cain, that could be Lumineth, that could be Sylvaneth, that could be, there it is. Look at it. Look at Scarlet and her little puppy. Because
Uh,
it's non-binary. It's a goblin in armor and has a mask that could be a guy or a girl goblin, even though
well,
no
goblins are
genitalia,
neither
whatever they.
guy nor girl. They're just
Yeah,
mushrooms.
exactly. So they can choose to be whatever they want to be,
Uh,
and it's got his little pet Squiggy too.
well, so by the way, Keith is right. Loot boxes do suck. I'm not disagreeing with
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But I wanted to
they're really.
point out how bad the loot boxes were. In that, first of all, if you're playing Age of Sigmar, it's you either get a chance at elves or order, and elves are in order, by the way.
Do you know what would be really funny is if you got elves and it was like here's some Phoenix Guard or some Dark Shots.
But even if it was like, hey, like it's gonna be for this army. Like we're just doing it. Like this year we're doing pick an army. Don't care. Like Night Haunt. At least then you would kind of have an idea, you know. But man, yeah, I just think that was almost in poor taste. But
Dan, Dan, do you have a pet? Do you have a pet dog or cat? Because I'm gonna have Scarlet the Riddler because it looks like a question mark. So it could be the Riddler. So it's gonna be painted red. So it's gonna be Scarlet. Well, Scarlet. So Scarlet the Riddler, and then whatever your pet cat or dog is called can be the squig. And I'm gonna do the squig like Batman. So it's kind of like a Batman mask.
I, all the crossbows they didn't sell. Yeah, exactly. Box full of
Yeah.
excess Doomfire Warlock stock because no one has enough of those because they're only in every box and they've
I
been
love it
crap
how
since the
they
beginning.
they drop the points on them as well. We have a dog. It's a dachshund called KM.
Oh,
Okay,
Cayenne.
I'm gonna write this down.
That's great. Cayenne like the pepper, I think,
Scarlet and Cayenne.
which is a great name for a dog. It's so good I wish I thought of it as well. Although I like my dog's name and my dog.
Scarlet and Cayenne, crime busters of the sea.
That's a
The
cool
crime
idea.
busters for AOS. Okay, written it down. Yes, look at that model. Dr. Victor von Schroom.
He's so great.
I mean, the tusks I'm probably going to cut off and just do like a Doctor Doom mask, but
Yeah.
he just looks like so badass for an army where they're just like complete little lunatics, high on mushrooms, but generally not that good in, as a combat character.
Um, I always love their weapons. I love the hook.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
was I was looking at it originally thinking of converting it into like a scythe and having it more of a scythe because it kind of has like death kind of presence.
yeah,
But like I just love like it just looks cool.
it's so awesome. My favorite
Yeah.
though, I think, is the is actually the loon boss on foot. His weapon is so rad. It's like a hook glaive. Like,
Yeah.
oh, so awesome. Yeah.
Hopefully we only have 3 more weeks and then we'll get the preview
Let's go.
pre-order.
Yeah.
Goblins.
It's Scragrot. I almost said Skarsnik because we've been talking so much about
Because
Skarsnik.
Skarskit is cooler than Skragrot because he has a giant squig. And anything with squigs is automatically better.
Excuse me, Dale, but he has two little moon squigs carrying his cape.
I don't have the model.
Oh, fair enough. Scragrot
It's one
all
of the
the
few
way.
ones I don't actually have.
Scragrot all the way. I hope he's good in the new one. I'm painting him just because I love the model. But
I hope this make him like right now.
have a
He's
good night, Dan. Thanks for
okay.
hanging out, buddy.
Have a good night, Dan. But I just like I want him to be better. I want him to be like, 300 points and be like really good and worth taking. Because he still can be killed. He's still squishy. He's got 4 awards. He's still in like 6 wounds or something. But like he should just be a lot more competent than he is, considering he's like supposed to be the head goblin.
Yeah, he's only takeable right now if you take him as your warlord, essentially. And
Yeah.
even then, I don't think he's worth the points because he's too
No,
easy to
I don't.
kill.
Again, like if he was maybe a free cast or something with 2 dispels, or the fact he's only a 2 cast, it's just
And
like
he's only like +2 or some or +1. I meant, and
he's
then
plus
+2.
one,
Yeah,
yeah,
+1, but then +2
yeah.
in the moon.
He should do a buff. Like to be honest, with someone like Skarsnik, it's not Skarsnik again. Skarsnik, we're going down the Skarsnik route. With that guy, is I think he should do something where if you're in the light of the bad moon, you get attack on death or something. Like that's the kind of thing where people will die to save him
They'll
because
probably
he should.
give him something.
I just generally hope they just make like I mean they need to do a lot because the moon is the most pointless battle trait thing in the book.
So
It's just so bad.
you heard the rumors though what they're doing it, right?
Yeah, they're gonna do it kind of like
You're always
where
in
it's
the
gonna be
light
effect.
of the
Yeah,
bad moon,
yeah.
and then it's gonna wax and wane, which is perfect.
Which I'm fine with if it's kind of like the Nurgle table or something where it's like it's always gonna do something, but some turns it's gonna be really good, some turns it's gonna be meh, but at least it's gonna do something and
Yeah.
it's gonna be random. I'm fine with that. It's the fact of like when you roll 5 ones in a game and the moon doesn't move, or you roll a
Yeah.
6 turn one and then a 6 turn two, so it jumps in the middle and it just leaves on
Welcome
turn
to my
three.
life. Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, okay.
The only time I
know.
didn't roll a 1 in my whole game, Dale, was when I rolled it illegally at the top of the game.
Do you know what I really wish they did?
What's that?
Was we actually discussed this with Matthias yesterday, is remove bringing units back and just make our stuff cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, get
Yep.
rid of. I will happily, because the number of times I don't roll it, but it's just such a pointless thing that we get taxed on. I would rather have 20, 20 shooters for 100 points than pay 120 points and maybe get half a unit back on a 4+.
I think they
It
should
means
just
they can
give
have
them.
a lot bigger armies, and
Yeah.
you can have a horde army that looks like a horde army, and then it's like, okay, well, this stuff dies, it dies, but at least I have a lot of it. Instead of, ooh, if I roll a 4+, I get half this unit rounded up by, oh, I didn't roll a 4+ for an entire tournament. Oh, that was such bad luck, because
Yeah.
a 4+ is not that good.
It's
At least some armies like Soulblight, you can get pluses to that dice roll.
if they're gonna do that, hopefully that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of hopes for the book, and I just hope it's I just hope it's. I don't want it to be broken. I just want it to be playable and
I
good.
really don't want it to be broken
I don't want lots of people playing it.
like I've found that like people don't want to play my Seraphon even though I don't have anything good in Seraphon. Like people are still just like, "Oh, Seraphon, I don't want to play that." And I'm like, "I lose with my Seraphon every time. They're one of my worst armies." Like just like, "Yeah, but it's Seraphon, so I'm tired of that." And it's
Yeah.
funny because I've had Seraphon since like they were terrible.
I mean, it's interesting because they're being slapped again, but also, I mean, they're probably getting a new book soon because there was those
Yep,
shadowy pictures.
probably in the spring.
So for those that didn't see it, is there was a video of preview and it showed some shadowy pictures and it looks like a new slan, some new cavalry, and
I
some new
I
infantry.
did show that. Or didn't I?
Yeah,
I can't remember now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very interesting in comparison. Um, so there's a high chance because there was also potentially a Khorne and a Slanesh, or it could be something else. Heroes there as well.
It's almost
Um,
certainly them though, considering
yeah,
what we're missing and such. Yeah, there's looks like there's a slan, a skink, something on what looks like it might be a Struthiomimus, one of those long-necked kind of dinosaurs that lope around, like in the first Jurassic Park movie. And a Saurus, either a hero or I'm actually got my fingers crossed for just a regular Saurus warrior is what we actually saw.
yeah.
But we only saw like one, but maybe they thought that would give away too much. But
Yeah, I mean, it's all right if they just tease one because it means
oh,
you can still get a
absolutely. I'm
unit.
just saying I'm really
It's
yeah,
an
it's
RLR.
LRL.
It
I
is.
mean,
It's the
that's
Lumineth Realm Lords that are wearing the skin armor of Seraphon.
it is LRL, Alex, but we just don't like to say that because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The summer Lumineth book is not going to be the new Cities of Sigmar. It's not going to be a new army. It's going to be Tyrion and his side of the Lumineth Realm Lords book with an update to the other side of the Lumineth Realm book.
I've got kind of a prediction about that. Um, that's not for this year, but I might as well say it anyway. I think 2024, the starter box is not Stormcast. I think it's Tyrion versus Skaven. I think it's a recreation of Island of Blood, but with like different models. And I don't mean Tyrion is in the box. I mean his side of the LRL is coming then.
I would have Tyrion versus Malarian and have Shadow Elves versus like Dragon Elves or
That
something.
would be cool, but like
Because people love their elves.
it's true, but then if you don't like love elves, then one of those things isn't for you. I mean, that's just my
If
prediction.
if they're if they're completely contrasting elves, so like you have angel elves versus
But
shadow demon elves kind of thing.
they've never done a box set like that.
Sure.
I actually the exception would be I guess be in 40K where they do like Chaos Space Marines versus Space Marines, but I don't think Dominion sold very well, and I think that they
No, it didn't, and but I mean we already talked about that. It was just not, you know, the biggest. Yeah, we've discussed Dominion quite a lot of time, but it definitely was not a designed box to solve people. Because when you do these box sets, you realistically you want to do a box set where people are going to buy multiple copies. Yeah,
yeah.
Alex, you did. I mean, you did. A lot of people took advantage. I brought two boxes of it because I got them for half price.
Yeah,
So
I bought
that's
two
why.
as well.
But yeah, um, but like you want a box set where people are going to buy two or three copies at full price because they can basically build an army out of that. And by introducing a system where one of the armies had a name character plus other characters that you don't really see, like the magic hero, the Arxarm, and the banner guy, literally you were buying that the Stormcast, you were only getting the Vindictors and the Thunderstrike guys, the big armor guys. They were the like, and oh, and even the the free bodyguard ones. I can't remember what they're called. Like all those units were kind of like, yeah, they're okay, but we want dragons. And
Yeah.
then the Cruel Boys, they were just like Cruel Boys, and at the time, even now, they're not exactly the greatest army, and um, they weren't something people asked for. So I definitely think they missed a boat. A good one they could do would be like, you know, if they did Dawnbringer Crusade versus a new army, like Silent People or Shadow
That would have
Elves
been
or something.
so much better.
That could be good because then you're giving people the Cities of Sigma back and an expansive range which will potentially have different race units.
Yeah.
And you also have this new, you know, another army as well.
But to be fair, they are giving us Dawnbringer Crusade in like its own release, which is kind of cool too.
But we also don't know if that's coming this year.
I
That
think it
might
is.
still be another year before we get that.
After that thing came out, like I believe, Dale, I believe.
Okay.
I've been wrong a bunch of times in the past, but I don't know.
I
Like
still think it's gonna be 2024 before we get the Dawnbringer Crusade. I think they want to update all the books, and then Dawnbringer is gonna be
But Dawnbringer
just.
won't be. I guarantee you, it won't be the starter set.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be the start for. I think they're gonna be the AOS season, AOS 4
I think it's going to
next year.
be. I think it's either going to be Tyrion or it's going to be more Stormcast.
Because 2024 AOS 4 matches and then releasing a new army. It might not be in the starter set, but it could be the big, you know, a big summer release or a thing.
It absolutely could.
And then you're writing the army for AOS 4, not for AOS 3, which has probably only got a year or two left on it.
It is essentially, but they're re-releasing a bunch of models. Keith asked, "Isn't Dawnbringer Crusade just the updated name of Cities of Sigmar?" The reason I'm reading that out, by the way, is because some people are painting.
I Yeah, I don't know if it is though, because Dawnbringer Crusade are the armies that left the cities to go into Gur and or to go and colonize new places. So I think you'll still have Cities of Sigma being those old books, old army ranges, while the Dawnbringer Crusade are going to be new kits,
But they're
and they
going to
might be
cancel a
new
lot of the old
versions
ones.
of. Yeah, I think a lot of them might get legended. It might be new versions of old stuff, like they might do a AOS version of Phoenix Guard or something because they are popular things. But it's going to be new design stuff because they probably want to start. They want to sell more models, and they're not going to sell more models by producing rules for old armies. Like the only reason they did Cities of Sigma because it's like, okay, we've got so many people that want to use these. The legend stuff isn't going. We could probably still sell some of the old kits if we just make a thing for it.
I mean, there
So
are a
an
lot of
easy
people
addition.
out there, like our friend LP, who just love humans. They just want to play like regular, basic, you know what humans, right?
I mean, a
And
mechanical warning steam tank could be cool. I mean, if you think about Cogforts, there are 3D printed version of Cogforts around it, and they're in one of the animations. There is a Cogfort.
which
That could be
animation?
a cool. It's in one of the.
Is it the Hamilcar
It's
one?
no, it's the one just before that. It's about some chaos cultists.
Oh, the
Or
Dark Oath one.
yeah, yeah. So in
I
that,
watched that. I don't remember the
there's a
mechanics.
big fight in the forest, and they're inside it. The Empire guys they're attacking a Cogfort.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
Crazy.
because it's on legs.
I didn't remember that. I did
Yeah.
enjoy that episode though.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, if you watch it again, when they're attacking in the fire, it's a cog fort, I'm sure. Unless
my
I was just.
it's I'm sad to say, although it makes sense because there's way more 40k content on Warhammer Plus, but my favorite one is definitely the Tyrannid one. It's called like New Life or something. That's such a good episode. Highly recommend it if you guys haven't seen it. I don't want to spoil it though, but it's really good. Um,
Well, I mean, they've just teased a load of stuff, but I hope they're releasing stuff soon because I accidentally paid for it on a year subscription when I was unemployed. So it's like, oh, there was $100 I didn't realize I just spent. But then it's also
dang.
like, okay, give me some damn content.
Did you
Give me some
get
stuff to watch.
did you get your free model?
I can order it now. There's nothing else I want to order right now, so I've not got it yet.
Oh, that's fair. Um,
I was going to get the Sorcerer, the Chaos Sorcerer, because the familiars are fun.
totally. If you remind me about that after the show, I wanted to ask you something about that. What have you got there?
About oh, I've just been playing with this because it's fun. It's a pair of like little scissors, but it's like in a heron.
Oh, that's cool.
But I've just been like I'm a fidgeter, so I've just been fidgeting with this.
Yeah,
And nothing else.
normally when I'm not playing, I'm fidgeting with my little
Yeah,
bottle opener that I use for my GW paint pots.
I want to play cities, but human models are too old. And yeah,
They're
well, that's the problem
so
that LP
old.
has.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's using human models as other races because he doesn't want to buy
The
models.
crazy thing about
Um,
LP is he's using models that aren't even from like the last edition of Fantasy, man. He's using like fourth edition Empire models. It's
yeah,
wild.
yeah, yeah.
He's like, why don't people make more human models? It's like, well, LP's a LP's a legend. You gotta love him. Um, yeah, man. I'm, you know, humans aren't my thing. Like, I like, I like my fantasy like fantastical. Like, it's kind of like this crazy escape for me. So it's usually like
Yeah.
whatever's the weirdest thing possible is the thing I like the most.
Yeah. I'm playing. I want elves, dwarves, dragons, goblins, orcs. I don't want Jeff the Butcher with his handgun.
Well, and I appreciate.
Unless it's witch hunters or yeah, the wolf priest and the Turchkin guard were cool.
Oh yeah, is that from Old Fantasy with
Yeah, they
the
were like lion,
Ulfric?
wolf
Ulfric,
type shoulders.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, I actually like that other people play it, but when I started with Skaven, then I went to Seraphon, even just an Age of Sigmar. I've never even touched a human model that I can think of. Do I not have a single human? The closest thing I have to a human is in 40k, and it's Space Marines. But
you have a son, Rob. You have a son.
that's true. Some say he's human, but jury's still out.
Yeah, 20 made what? Yeah.
My current, yeah, for real.
Also, talking about that sort of thing as well, the Imperial Guard
Reroll.
Praetorians that were based on the old British military,
Yeah.
where it's basically the guys from Zulu, the British riflemen from Zulu.
Uh huh.
They made an Imperial Guard and they were all metal. They were some of the coolest models I would have wanted to have collected if I was playing at the time. Just because I would love a 2,000 point army of old kind of British style riflemen. Just terrible army, but just to have all these like lasgun troopers just when you're playing against like Tyranids or orcs or something, just so you could just do all the cheesy one lines from the film.
Nice. I was thinking like run it like Cyphus Kane or whatever his name is. You know those the
Oh,
novels.
from the books, yeah,
Yeah, because he fights the Tyranids more than probably anyone.
yeah. Or he kind of accidentally fights them.
Yes, yes. Um, I saw a really interesting video about him the other day that he's actually not a coward or whatever. That like he talks about himself like he is, but his
Mhm.
actions speak louder than his words, and it was interesting. I didn't really enjoy the style of the book, so I didn't end up. Um, I only read the first one, but yeah, I would like to go back to them. Um, yeah, I had a unit of 20 Skaven acolytes, Scryer acolytes, Keith, and that thing broke my back every time. Like pointless
I
blades
keep
away from your
I'm,
throat.
I'm
Yeah, for
scratching
real.
I'm scratching my beard with them. They're only tiny.
Good God. Oh my gosh. Didn't your parents teach you anything, Gail?
Yes, goblins are the best.
They taught you that? You had pretty cool parents. It took me
That's what I believe they taught me.
it took me way
I don't
too
know what they
long.
really taught me, but that's what I believe, and what I
Okay,
believe is reality. So
that's
it's
true.
fine.
You make your own reality. I was taught that rats are the best, and that was true.
I think we're running out of content.
Yeah, that's I'm
I'm
there
just
there was one other
waffling on
thing we were
still.
going to talk about, but it's completely escaped me. It wasn't anything important, but it was just something we were going to mention, but yeah.
Um,
I pretty much got
I'm trying to
everything
think
done.
of anything we missed. I think.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's all good. We can. It was just to provide some funny background noise for people to paint to tonight,
Mhm.
and yeah,
I'll
but
come along and chat, and then we'll actually come up with some content for next week.
yes, the shepherd crook though. Someone said that earlier, and that is absolutely what he is. He's a shepherd of
Yeah,
squigs.
he's shepherding the squids. As I said, my hope for him is he is a high gladiatrix for squigs.
Yeah, he's a
So
force multiplier
he
for squigs.
yeah, he has like a 12-inch aura where he gives squigs +1 to wound and +1 rend or something like that, or you know,
Oh man, that
make
would be so
that.
good. I hope it's true
It
as
just gives us
well.
just the fact that it just gives us more foot heroes because we don't have many fit heroes that are ever used because they're very weak and they die horribly or they don't do much.
I wonder if
That's just
he'll.
because we need a
Do you
bit.
think he'll just buff squig herds, or do you think he'll buff? He might buff. What are they called? Like squig hoppers or Boingrot's bounders.
Well, hopefully they'll actually do the keywords properly this time and it'll buff most of the things.
Squigs,
Like,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Squig keyword. Yeah,
yeah.
that would be great. Next week's topic: something to make Alex say "boo elves." I mean, I think that's the topic every week, Keith. Right?
I just think we just assume he's just going to be saying boo elves at some point anyway.
Yeah. Elves are pretty great, according to GW, but Alex does not see them as
Mine are all
being.
put away.
It's
They're
is it
all in a box.
has it been a while, Keith? I know Alex in real life, so it's never that long for me. He's, well, hopefully we can get one out of him next week. Next time, remind me, Keith, and we'll just bring up elves, okay? Until he says it. It has been too long since he said it in the chat. So
We
I
should just spend the day next Tuesday, just send him pictures of elves all day.
just send it. And
Just
then,
send him just randomly. Send it by text message, by
yeah,
Facebook, by Instagram, by WhatsApp. You know, just send him pictures of elves
he may
all day,
block me, though.
different ones.
He may block me if I do that. The question is it worth it? And I think the answer is yes, right? I think we can all agree. Um, but but yeah, I mean I think we're I think that's about good, right? If there's anything we forgot to mention, um, let us know in the comments, and we can do that next week. I've got some battle reports I'm working on right now, and yeah, cranking out more goblins as we speak. So yeah, expect more of all of the above content rather soon.
Goblins.
Goblins are so great, man. They're just the jolliest, most fun army right now in AOS, I think. But
2023 year of the goblin.
I think it might be, you know?
Well, it's the year of the rabbit, and I presume rabbits being akin to squigs.
Right, it is
So
Year of
it's
the
the year,
Rabbit.
exact, yeah. So it's gonna be the year of the squig.
That's crazy. My son's a rabbit. He's born in Year of the Rabbit. So that's wild.
Thank you for doing what you do. It improves my Wednesdays 8 time
Right,
zones.
because you're in Australia, right, Keith? That's awesome.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
you must be enjoying your summer over there.
Yeah, they're having a lovely summer. Yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in and just hanging out. Like sometimes we have planned content, and then other times, if
We
there's
forget
just
it's Tuesday.
yeah, today we both were like, because Monday was a holiday, it was a statutory holiday, so it felt like Monday all day, and then I was like,
Yeah,
oh dear,
enjoying it is a word that could be used.
yeah, I was eating dinner.
I would love to. I still have invitations to go, and I would love to at some point go to CanCon. I have
Oh
friends that have
yeah,
been trying to guys I've known from Dwellers Below and stuff for years and stuff. They, on some people I know from Twitter that I've been trying to get to go over, and I would love to. It was one day. It's one of these things of like I would love to organize. I'd love to go to New Zealand to check it out anyway, and I'd love to go to Australia and check it out, and to be able to do a tournament while doing that would be awesome. But that's like a, you know, not this year or next year probably plan. This is like maybe a couple of years plan. But it's something on my cards that it's like a bucket list thing. I'd love to go out there and do that.
Yeah, CanCon's one of like the premier tournaments in the world
Yeah.
for Age of
Yeah,
Sigmar.
I've done most of the big ones now. Like I've done South Coast GT, I've done the ETC, I've done the US Masters, I've done Adepticon, done LVO. So I'd love to be able to like just add CanCon to that because that's kind of like the last like big one I know of. I think there's one in France as well. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, probably. Have you
Um,
done
it's-
Have you done Nova?
no, but Nova's like I don't know. I just don't know if it's as renowned as some of the other ones.
I don't know either. Actually, the one you should do the most, like the one that I actually want to do the most is that one in SoCal, or it might be in New Mexico, but I forget what they're called. I'll have to come up with it. I'll find it later, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one that I really wanted to go to.
Yeah, I mean, depending, obviously, a lot of the stuff this year depends on what happens, baby timeline, if
Yep,
we get lucky or not, because obviously we are older. But yeah, because of the new job, I actually have the ability to be able to potentially go to some of these other ones now. So
totally.
that's a thing.
That's
I would like
awesome.
to go to some more tournaments than six this year. I'd like to try and get eight this year or 10 this year. That'd be nice. I'm
Are
going
they?
to try and hold one in Vancouver too. So
That would be awesome.
yeah. Okay.
But
Well, I'm done. My voice is starting to get
yes,
cooking. It's
yeah.
getting drink.
um, hiding in the shade, he says. Yeah, that does sound right. Anyway,
That's
guys,
like stabby things. I think that's like I'm like a goblin. I want stabby things.
and hoods. We need
Hoods.
hoods.
Yeah, hoods. Yeah.
So you have to be very creepy, and I need some kind of hook shaped. Oh my God, Dale's he's reminding us more of what were they called? This sneaky. Oh, it's not sneaky
Sneaky
snufflers, but
gits.
there was
Well, yeah, sneaky
in
gits used to be a
fantasy.
thing.
Was it
Yeah,
sneaky gits? Was that what they were
yeah, it
called?
was sneaky gits. They
Oh,
were
okay.
called. Or
I
nasty skulkers, I think they
Nasty
were.
Skulkers. That's what I was thinking of. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, Nasty Skulkers, the Night Goblin guys. Yeah. Dale, his new nickname is Nasty Skulker.
It does. I need to. I don't have a top to wear for LVO yet. I need to make one before I go.
Just get some yellow fabric paint.
Mm,
That'd be great.
I'll
But
maybe get Lisa to make me something. 'Cause she's talented.
yes.
Okay, I'm
Cool
gonna go.
guys. Yes. Thanks so much for
Thank you very
hanging
much for
out.
tuning in.
Yeah. And yeah,
My
we'll
dog needs
see
to
you
go out,
guys
so
next week. Bye.
go on. You're okay. Bye.